fashionistas, I hope you're all having a lovely day. I'm doing another first impression video today. I'm going to be checking out the Flawless Matte Finish Oil-Free Foundation by Miriam. Miriam is a British drugstore company, so you can pick them up at the drugstore there, or you can do what I do and get them online. I'm going to be opening this. I got mine in Sand, which seems to be a very popular name for foundation shades for me. And I'm actually like literally opening this up on camera. Seeing what came sealed. The packaging is nice. It's a matte kind of looking foundation bottle. I don't know if you can tell. It's not too shiny. It clearly has. It's a pump. And it clearly has one of those thingies that when you pump it, it goes up. So you get most of your stuff out, which I kind of like. So I'm going to, I can't really read it. It says it's an oil-free formulation containing soothing moisturizer with skin healing properties for a flawless matte finish. It has 30 grams in it, or 30 milliliters. It doesn't appear to have any SPF, at least not according to the packaging. Okay, and I'm going to, okay, so it comes out really easy. This is a really, what's the word? It's not a hard pump. It's very, very smooth and soft. Smell, it has a cosmetic nice smell to it, if that makes any sense. I'm going to start off by, it seems like it's fairly liquidy, but it's still pretty stable, if that makes sense. Sand might be a little bit too dark for me, actually. We'll see how it blends it. And blends it, and it's a very, very thin foundation. We're going to find out if I can build it up. Okay. I'm actually finding it much easier to apply with my fingers, but I do have a brush here, and I already have foundation on my brush, but let's give it a try. I really like the smell. It's like a nice springy smell. Okay, so it applies nicely with fingers and with a brush. I don't think it's a high coverage. It is a light coverage foundation. Okay, it applies very nicely. It's very smooth. It's very thin. It's not very heavy. I would not call this a high coverage foundation. I'm wondering if I should add just a little bit, and in fact, I'm just gonna give it another little run through. It blends nicely into your neck, which is always nice, especially, well, I think most foundations that are medium coverage do that, actually. It does cover up some blemishes, so that's nice. I think if you use a primer that does neutralize redness, it might actually be perfect with it, from what I can tell. It blends in really nicely. It gives it a very natural looking coverage, if you can tell. I'm just going to let it sit for a few seconds. It's setting very nicely by itself, but I always give it a few more minutes to see. I do not use fixing powder for this part of the first impression for foundations, because I want to see how the foundation functions on itself. So I'm back. It's been about 10 minutes. This is definitely a foundation that I would use with a setting powder. For the sake of this video, I'm not going to, but you wouldn't want to use something very, very light, because it's still a little bit sticky, and it's been 10 minutes, so from my experience that means it needs a setting powder. In terms of its coverage, it's definitely a medium coverage towards the light. It's a light medium coverage. It's very, very, it's very funny that they say that it's oil-free, because it feels very oily on my skin. So I don't know what I think about that. It definitely gives coverage together with the only thing that I can see coming through is very, very little kind of pigmentation areas. So if you use a primer that has like a green, I'm trying to think about it, but I think pulling it out. Like the e.l.f. primer that has some green neutralizing pigments in it would be useful here. You don't need something very heavy in terms of the primer because the foundation does go on very nicely. It's smooth and it blends in very well, and it does give us some coverage. What I love about it is this is the kind of foundation that's very useful to keep in your drawer next to a full coverage foundation, because you're able to put this on and you still look natural. I haven't put any bronzer or blush on yet, but I don't look washed out. Full coverage foundations tend to give that washed out look, and sometimes you don't want to mess with everything else because you're afraid it's going to fade out, or you want to make your foundations just as easy as that. So this would be really nice to do that, especially if you're looking for a slightly bronzed look. The sand tone definitely has some orange undertones in it, but not orange like, oh, I look like a clown, but more like a tinted kind of look. So that's the current look that my face has. So that's the foundation. Hi, so I kind of look disheveled, I guess. I'm looking at the viewfinder. It's been over 7 hours since I've applied the foundation. My thoughts about it so far are as follows. First of all, it does stay, it does last. It's a long-lasting foundation, so that definitely is correct. It's a light to medium coverage. It is not a high coverage. The sand, I'm not sure what other shades are there. I'll write down here in the description box if I forget, but it has a slightly dewy effect to it, and specifically in the color that I took, it has a bronzed undertone. I don't want to say orange because when you say orange, then people think of orange. They think like about an Oompa Loompa. It's not an Oompa Loompa effect. It just gives you the extra tan look. I mean, if you look down my neck, it doesn't look like I've put on a foundation that's not my color, and that's what I really like about it. So it definitely works if you're looking for that extra kind of bronzy tan look. The other thing is it did last pretty well. It feels like you have foundation on. Certain foundations, you touch them and you don't feel like you have foundation. Well, this is not one of those. What is this good for? Since I'm a big coverage, high coverage foundation girl, this would be good for people who are looking for foundations they can just put on and not really have to worry about bronzing their face and want a one-stop face look. So they just put a little bit of light eyeshadow up to their, going up to your crease, and a very thin liner and some lipstick and 4 products, and you're out the door. However, if you're into the whole contouring and stuff like that, I don't think this makes a very good base. I think that because of the way it sits in your skin, it's basically one product. You can add a little bit of blush to it, but that's pretty much it. I wouldn't start fiddling around with layers of stuff on it. It does not create a base. So I know foundation is considered a base step in your makeup routine, but this is not that foundation. This foundation is as is. It definitely does not dry out your skin, as I said before. It does have a dewy kind of look to it. I do think it lasts. I would recommend this for people who like their light to medium coverage. However, if you like the high coverage, you might really consider it, especially if you like doing all the steps of putting on stuff on your face, so like me. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Tell me what your thoughts are if you've tried this before. If you want to see more videos of mine, please don't forget to subscribe. And if you like this video, please hit the like button. All my links to my social media will be down below in the down bar. My Pinterest, Instagram, my Twitter page, my Facebook page, and my blog page. So please go and check it out and see what you like. And that's it. So have a lovely day, everybody. Bye.